So, was this past Sunday a bad game or a bad sign for the Dallas Cowboys? Can the Ravens hold on to that number one seed in the AFC? And which of our teams has survived the first round of our playoffs and are ready to make it to the second round? Well, we're going to try to find the answers to those questions and many more as we bring you our star-studded holiday edition of Fantasy Football Fever, and it starts right about now. Well, hello, everyone. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Hanukkah, whatever holiday you're celebrating. Thanks for making this part of your week, however you're watching, whenever you're watching, and wherever you're watching. It is Fantasy Football Fever for December 19th, 2023. Only 6 more shopping days left till Christmas. Hope you got your Christmas stuff ready. If not, you got a few more days. But the weather outside is frightful, but the football action is so delightful. I can definitely say that. So you know who I am. I'm Tim McClelland. This guy over here, this is our commissioner, John Natale.
Hello.
The guy right down here below me is the host of Hooked on Sports, Mr. John Flynn.
Hey. Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays, everybody.
And this guy right down here is one of our fantasy players in our league. We know him and we love him and we hope you do too. His name is Dino. If he can hear me. Well, he's here, so we can go ahead and get this thing started. Yeah, well, anyway, for many of you fantasy players, this may be your very first week in your fantasy playoffs. For us, we're going into our second round of the playoffs. So I say it's time to do a little recap on what happened in the first round of our league playoffs. And we're going to start with we're going to start off with our matchup between John Natale and, of course, our man Dino right here. And it seems to me that we had an upset, I guess you could say.
Mm-hmm.
It was Dino taking care of Mr. Natale, 147.06 to 139.74. Some notable players for Dino's team, some notable numbers. Well, look at that. Every starting player he had, except one, had double digits for him. Now that is what I call consistency.
I think he had a couple.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. I was looking at the wrong column. I was looking at projections here, but now I'm looking at the points that was scored.
Yes, these are the actual
points. Yeah, use actual points. 22.96 points from Cincinnati Bengals quarterback Jake Browning in the win over Minnesota, 27-24. Ty Chandler from Minnesota earned him 24-7. Got Cooper Kupp, 25.1. 15.7 from Mike Evans. Going down the list here, Jaden Reed from Green Bay, his flex player, got him 17.2 points. And he managed to get 12 points from the Ravens defense and special teams. And he got 12 points from Mr. Automatic Justin Tucker, which I believe Justin Tucker should no longer be called Mr. Automatic. In fact, that title should go to a certain NFC East kicker. I think y'all know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, and to break down further how Dino was able to win, he got 324 yards and 2 passing yards and 2 touchdown passes from Jake Browning, and Ty Chandler, who was filling in for Alexander Madison, who was out with an injury. Ty Chandler on the ground, 132 yards rushing and a touchdown. While Cooper Kupp is back to wide receiver 1 form, to taking that grip away from Puka Nacua. He had 8 catches, 111 yards, and a touchdown for the Rams in their win against Washington on Sunday.
And looking at Dino's bench players, 22.52 points from Matthew Stafford in the Rams winning effort against the Commanders. 12.1 points from Cortland Sutton, even though they lost to the Lions 42-17. 26.4 points from Cleveland tight end David Njoku.
So 2 weeks in a row, and Njoku has had over 25 points in fantasy.
And Tajay Spears from Tennessee only got 4.7 points. And no points from Nico Collins or Jonathan Taylor. I guess they're both still injured.
Yep, both of them were hurt. Yep.
Meanwhile, yeah.
Yeah, and meanwhile, as for Natale, it's going to be an off season of what ifs for him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, only got 11.64 from Justin Fields. Did get a big 41.7 from Run CMC, as well as 21.9 points from Deebo Samuel, 12.3 from TJ Hawkinson, a big 26 points from the Dolphins defense special teams.
Yeah.
Got a nice 11 points from Bobby Wagner. And looking down at his bench players,
I think you're missing the big thing, though, Tim, is that Bijan Robinson only gave him 0.4 points.
What happened there?
So I mean, because I think a lot of things happened. I think number one, because
he fumbled.
The fumble was a problem. So yeah, but I think also the Panthers defense plays very well. I mean, as bad as the Panthers have been, their defense has been pretty underrated, and one of the reasons I did have Carolina making the playoffs preseason, which turned out to be completely wrong, was because of their defense, and they have some pieces on defense that I think are really strong.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I think once because once they saw the Falcons were so limited through the air, then they could key in on stopping Bijan Robinson and Tyler Algier.
Yeah, I've kind of been very, very disappointed most times for Bijan Robinson. He only got 0.4 points. Actually, I should give it no points at all. I mean, I don't know what's going on. So to Bijan Robinson, I only have this to say.
I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
Yeah. Hey, look who's here. It's A Pizzle 90. Our man Alex. Yo ho ho and a bottle of rum.
So yeah, we had a lot of Natale, myself, and Tim had a lot of fun doing his podcast last week with Lucas with the picks.
Oh yeah, with the Four Horsemen Pick'em show. If y'all missed that, just go to Alex's YouTube channel, A Pizzle 90. Go back to last week's Four Horsemen show. All 5 of us were there, and it was a delightful time. Once again, thanks to Alex and Lucas for bringing the guys on. Yeah,
and also one final thing for Natale's lineup as regards to DeAndre Hopkins. I made fun of Natale the whole offseason about DeAndre Hopkins and how he's been his ride or die. Well, so he only gave you 5 points.
There's another guy who was worse.
Yep.
Yeah.
Look at Zay Flowers.
Yeah.
I can't blame Flowers that much. He was barely targeted. I can't really blame him.
Right. I mean, Zay Flowers has been a very, very good rookie receiver for those Ravens.
Flowers only had 2 targets, so I can't really blame him on that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's weird. Hopkins has been weird for me. Like when I start him, he does bad. When I bench him, he does good.
Yeah, which is why I told you DeAndre Hopkins was someone on the downturn.
But I've gotten some bright spots from him in the past, but
I remember one of the things I said this offseason was that DeAndre Hopkins going from Arizona to Tennessee would be a worse situation for him because of the quarterback situation, like going from a talented Kyler Murray to a not so talented Ryan Tannehill, and Natale took the cheese on DeAndre Hopkins despite all of that, and the Titans' lack of a passing offense, and Natale partly as a result of that paid the price with a first-round playoff exit.
Mm-hmm.
And I was looking down at Natale's benched players that he had. 29.1 points from Jordan Addison. He had a pretty good game against the Bengals on that one. 15.34 from Kyler Murray. 13.9 from Gus Edwards. 13 even from the Bills defense special teams, which, well, the defense really didn't do anything for the Bills. It was just James Cook.
Yeah.
And we'll get to that a little bit later.
Yep. So 140.
Yep.
Go on.
I'm just glad the Dolphins won't be facing the Jets this week.
So that's how it played out. Mr. Dino advances into the next round.
Yep, and Dino will be taking on Tim McClelland in the first semifinal match, and then I have the other bye, and I will be taking on in the semifinals Lucas, who beat Adam Oliver this week.
Look at this final score: 117.62 to 67.66.
Oh my gosh,
Jared Goff went off for Lucas, 41.12 points. He actually started Josh Jacobs and got 0 zilch zippo zippity doo dah.
Yeah, he didn't play. Yeah, he didn't play, but it didn't matter for him.
Didn't play, but it didn't matter. So got 10.4 from Jamar Chase, 12.8.
But one
from
of his
DJ
receivers
Metcalf.
got hurt.
Yeah, Jamar Chase got hurt, and we'll be talking about that and why it's going to be and the big impacts on that injury a little later in the show.
16.1 from Derek Metcalf, 14 even from Puka Nacua. Zaire Franklin, 10.8 in a winning effort against the Steelers. Oh my gosh, I was listening to that game on the radio. I mean, I can't believe this that Pittsburgh could just fall flat on his face like the way they did. But of course, I had mentioned Trubisky. Anyway, he got 11 points from the Falcons. Defense and special teams there. Looking down to the bench players, 20.54 points from Jamar Chase left on the table, as well as 17.2 points from Deontay Johnson. James Conner got him at 17.9. And Mark Andrews, Kirk Cousins still on the IR. Meanwhile, from Adam's side, yes, a very underappreciative and underperforming game for Dak Prescott in that losing effort against Buffalo. Joe Mixon did give him 15.1 points. Keaton Mitchell from Baltimore got him 10.8. And looking at his bench players, got 17.68 left on the table from Jacoby Myers, as well as 21.1 points from Curtis Samuel for the Commanders. And got 19.7 from Patrick Mahomes, as well as 10 points even from the Chiefs kicker Harrison Butker. So that means that Lucas will be taking on Flynn in the semifinals.
And some other disappointments. DJ Moore, who was rejected at close to 16 points, only gave him 9. Taysom Hill, for his starting tight end, only gave him 1 catch for 4 yards. Tyler Lockett only had 3 catches for 21 yards, gave him just 5.1. Brandon Aubrey only gave him 4 points, and the Dallas defense only gave him 3 points. But in the scoring in my other league, the Cowboys defense had -1.
Yeah, those Cowboys were really.
And then as yeah, and
Cowboys
then we'll
were really.
a quick
They were really buffaloed. I will say that.
Yeah, because
anyway,
no one circles the wagons. Because
like
no
the
one
Buffalo
circles the
Bills.
wagons. Yep, and these are the winner the consolation prizes. We'll go through these quickly. Josh Allen, so underperformed, but he didn't have to do much. Kyle Williams, another big day. Zach Moss, Trey McBride, had a big day, but for Casey, he got 33 points from Brock Purdy, and none of his touchdowns went to Brandon Ayuk. A reason why Andrew lost that matchup. T. Higgins, 22 points. Kenneth Walker, 20.2 points. He had a touchdown on the opening possession of the second half last night against the Philadelphia Eagles. And here's how the bench players did. Amari Cooper, 20 points for the Browns, including what was at the time a game-time touchdown in the fourth quarter, and then he left Terry McLaurin on the bench. Told you he was the starter of the week in fantasy. Told you. Yeah, and Tua only gave you 14 points. But that was underachievement, and that was my sit of the week for a reason. So that was sad. And then the other matchup is David against Putnam, and you can see the numbers there. 24.2 from Amon St. Brown, and you got points from Justin Jefferson and CeeDee Lamb. But Pizzle got Gardner Minshew and Jalen Waddle to come through. And it's nice that Jalen Waddle showed up for a change, and he was a no-show when Tyreek Hill was down last week. He got nothing out of Keenan Allen. 24.1 from Devontae Adams. Texans defense showed up, as did Jason Sanders.
Yeah, well, that's how those matchups go.
Oh, we got some ESPN breaking news that's football related, but this is a player that Flynn might remember as a Giants fan.
Oh,
you ready for some old school news, Flynn? Let's see.
I'm talking about Derek Ward.
Okay, so you got that alert too then. Oh, you just got the alert also then.
Yeah, I found out about like several hours ago.
Oh, yeah. Apparently just came in on my ESPN alert. Just popped up just now.
Yeah.
Don't think I had that one. So yeah, I think it's time to what was it going to do? Week 15 performances.
Oh, wait, are we going to preview the matchups first?
Yes. So yeah, we're going to preview the matchups when we do the Week 16 projections for everybody. So we're going to do things a little bit different tonight.
All right.
Right. Oh, okay.
Yes. So here, in a regular PPR setting where touchdown passes are worth 4 points instead of 6. So here were the best performances from the week from quarterbacks, because you got Jared Goff, who was on fire, 5 touchdowns against the Broncos. Baker Mayfield has been terrific. And how about Aiden O'Connell? I should have known that the Chargers were going to be a no-show on Thursday night. Aiden O'Connell just completely ripped apart that Charger defense.
Wow, yeah. That was just amazing what 1 week could make for those Raiders.
Yeah.
So
yeah, go on.
See Brock Purdy holding his own along with Jalen Hurts. Gardner Minshew, been flying under the radar. But not bad. As our
Yeah.
man Alex would say,
And-
Minshew Mania running wild.
Yeah. And then among those rostered, I mean, Dak was a double agent. He was by far the worst of all the top quarterbacks. On over the weekend. Trevor Lawrence wasn't too good either, and he's been a disappointment so far. But so those are your quarterbacks. Best running back performances, and no surprise who number one was, Christian McCaffrey. But look who is number two, James Cook of the Buffalo Bills, 179 yards rushing. So he had two total touchdowns, averaged 34.1 fantasy points.
Yeah. I see Kyron Williams in the top 10 right there, along with Rashad White and Kenneth Walker III. I think I may have released Devin Singletary from my roster. I think I still have Raheem Mostert on one of my fantasy rosters, if I'm not mistaken. It looks like look, there's a name we haven't heard in a long time. Right there at number 10, Clyde Edwards, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. And we got James Conner, Samir White, Jarrett McKinnon. So basically, those are the top running backs from this past week. And moving on now to, I think Flynn. Yeah, Flynn was frozen up again, but he'll be back very quickly. So anyway, while we're waiting on him to get back, just showing off my scarf here. This is my ugly Christmas sweater. Yeah. So and I got this little Santa thing here.
Hopefully, my running back will be back this week.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right, Flint. That's right, Pizzle. Minshew Mania.
You brought it out on the shelf to put. Steal him, get back in here, please. I don't know.
There we go. I was just showing everybody my little Christmas friend here.
Yeah. So what are you guys doing?
I think we're about to look at the top wide receivers from fantasy this week. My laptop just crashed, so we will hold on to that and do that a little later. But and so while my computer is rebooting, why don't we do some hot topics? Hey, let's go ahead and talk some hot topics here. Leo, what do you got? What's the first thing that you want to talk about here?
So I think in terms of a league perspective, obviously, I think the big story is that the Chargers fired both Brandon Staley as the head coach and general manager Tom Telesco. So what are your thoughts, guys?
Yeah, it was pretty much expected. We all saw it coming. It was just doing the inevitable.
I think we need to go back and if we still have our lists of the coaches that we knew were going to be on the hot seat before the season started and kind of do a comparison of then and now, I think we probably said Staley was pretty much on the hot seat, and of course he's gone now.
Yeah, both guys were both guys were on the list, that's for sure.
Yeah, and of course there's
Hopefully the Packers fire their defense coordinator.
Oh gosh, that was horrendous. Because they allowed Baker Mayfield to be the first quarterback ever to have a perfect passer rating on the road at Lambeau Field.
Oh my gosh. Yeah,
Yeah.
and who else?
And last week against the Giants.
Yeah, last week against Giants. And of course, rumor going around, everyone's thinking that this will be Bill Belichick's final years coaching the Patriots. But everyone just could say that Belichick could be the next candidate for the Chargers head coaching job.
Yeah, I mean, it could be Belichick, it could be Mike Tomlin, it could be Jim Harbaugh, but I don't think Jim Harbaugh would want to leave Michigan, though, because he's doing so well there.
Yeah, so well that they're in the college football playoff. So that seems good. One story that came up, I think it was yesterday.
It's going to be the year Michigan wins it all.
Anyway, Micah Parsons' criticism against the media, saying that the media is just paying attention, just waiting for the Cowboys to lose. He said that on his podcast. I think it was either yesterday or earlier today. I think it was yesterday. He's just thinking that the media just wants the Cowboys to lose. So basically, in your opinion, is his opinion fair or foul?
It's foul because it tells you what the mental toughness is for the Dallas Cowboys. Can they win games on the road? And here's something that Fox that First Things First on FS1 pointed out yesterday on their show, that the Cowboys on the road, when they play the Giants and the Panthers, they average over 35 points per game, and only gave up 10 combined points. They were all against Carolina. In the other 5 games, which is San Francisco, Arizona, Philadelphia, the Chargers, and Buffalo, who they lost to on Sunday. So they've gone 1-4 in those games, and they've given average 30 points allowed and only 16 points for. So that means the average margin of defeat is 14 points.
Kind of tough when they don't win many games on the road. Of course, we all know that they're perfect at home.
But the thing is, if Philadelphia wins the division and the Eagles have the gift of the schedule, they got 2 of the last 3 games with the Giants and the others against the Arizona Cardinals. But even if the Eagles don't win out, they do win out. They're gonna have to see what the strength of the schedule is. So that means the Eagles are probably gonna have to root for the same place finisher teams that they face, like Kansas City and Tampa and Minnesota to win. And as for the Cowboys, the same place finisher teams they face are the Lions, the Chargers, and the Panthers. For them to win out, so they can say they have a better strength of victory. So the way it works in the tiebreakers, so for division, it's head to head. The teams split their series. Assuming both teams win out, they're gonna have the same conference record at 9-3, and they're gonna have the same division record at 5-1, because they would have swept Washington. Both teams would have swept Washington and the Giants, whichever team has the better strength of the strength of victory. And right now that tiebreaker I think might belong to Dallas at the moment, but we'll definitely need to see what transpires, because it's gonna be a case where there are other games that mean nothing to anybody except for that one tiebreaker. So
right.
So we'll see what happens there.
Yeah. Let me look up something. Yeah, I was just trying to take a look here, trying to remember the teams that have now fallen off of playoff contention in the NFL. Let's see here. Which teams are out of the playoffs? Okay, there's got to be more of that because, well, Patriots, Jets, Titans.
Yeah, the Panthers, the Cardinals, and the Commanders.
Panthers, Cardinals, Commanders. So
Yeah.
So they'll just
Yeah.
they'll just be playing for pride for the rest
Carolina
of the way.
this week.
So yeah, Carolina Panthers. Yep. So
Yeah, and two of these teams are going to be facing off on Sunday with the Commanders and the Jets at the Meadowlands.
yep.
Yeah, so which is why when we get to the pick segment later, both Tim and I have that game as the garbage game of the week.
Right.
So because it's a meaningless game for both teams.
Absolutely. Because, like I said, I wasn't going to pick the Jet. I'm not picking the Jets anymore. They just they've kind of fallen flat on their faces. Well, down the stretch, they started off so good, but then, well, Jets do Jets things. So we got other things to talk about. I don't have anything off the top of my head.
Oh, so I thought you were going to say what happened last night.
What happened last night?
I think he's referring to your Cowboys.
No, it's about the Eagles losing to Seattle.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, we called it. Everything that we said would happen happened.
Yeah, that was our
The
upset
Eagles
special, and we
beat
threw
Seattle.
it. We threw it out.
Yeah.
If y'all saw the Four Horsemen show last week, all three of us said that somehow Seattle would pull off the upset.
Right now,
and
no one's
they
beating the
did.
Buffalo Bills.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
the Eagles were the last with the. And the Eagles were actually the last team to beat Buffalo. And Cincinnati was the last team to beat San Francisco, but that was when San Francisco was a little banged up.
So, like I was saying to my friends earlier, any loss by the
I wouldn't mind
Eagles
seeing.
would be any loss by the Eagles is a moral victory for not only the Cowboys but for the Giants. Well, I wouldn't say the Commanders, but the Commanders are out of contention. So.
Yeah. Giants are playing for
Yeah.
their lives right now. I see this little graphic here. Right now, the Giants have less than a 1% chance to make the playoffs. If they win, they bring their 2% chance to make the playoffs. If they lose, 0%.
Yeah, but they already have 9 losses, though. So
Yeah.
that I mean, if you have 9 losses right now, you're pretty much done.
But if I think if the Saints beat the Rams on Sunday, that the Giants game won't even matter.
Yeah, I mean the Saints Rams game is actually this Thursday night, and that's gonna be a monster game with playoff implications.
I forgot which team had to lose to keep the Giants' playoff hopes alive. I forgot which one. I believe if the Saints win, the Giants are out.
Yeah, it's most definitely because of the head-to-head.
Yeah. So that game we have to root for the Rams.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even matter with this. It doesn't matter with this to me because I've already turned the page.
Yep.
Yeah,
I want
guess almost
Cooper Kupp to get
everybody
40
has as well.
Mm.
Yeah, Cooper Kupp. Yeah, he's a pretty good receiver, but that Puka Nakua is starting to be a real good star. That kid's amazing.
Yeah.
So, what else we got?
Let's see what else. We need to talk about the Baltimore Ravens because that was one of your questions at the start of the show.
Oh yeah, can they hold on to first place in the AFC?
Yeah, and I think that's the
On defense.
reasonable question. That's because the thing is because had Jacksonville beaten Baltimore on Sunday night, which they didn't, it would have been the entire AFC would have gone bonkers had that happened because then you would have the race to the 1 seed. I mean that you would have 5 teams in contention for the 1 seed in the AFC with Cleveland, Baltimore, Kansas City, Jacksonville, and Miami. The all game.
All right, so I think we lost Flynn again. There he
Yeah,
is.
but
Look at it. Yeah, I'm looking at the remaining games for the Ravens. They're at San Francisco on Christmas night. Then on New Year's Eve, they're at home against the Dolphins. Then they finish the season on January 7th at home against the Steelers.
yeah, and I can't wait for that for that for that on 49ers Ravens game on Christmas night because thing is that this weekend you're gonna have the 2 seeds in each conference right now, Dallas and Miami going head to head, and the current 1 seeds in each conference, Baltimore and San Francisco going head to head.
That's right. That's right. I'm looking at the remaining schedule for the Cincinnati Bengals. They're at Pittsburgh on the 23rd, which would be Saturday. Then on New Year's Eve, the Bengals have to go to Kansas City to face the Chiefs. Then on the 7th of January, the Bengals are at home against Cleveland. I could probably see them beating Pittsburgh, but probably not Kansas City or Cleveland. So I think probably 1 and 2 for the last 3 games for the Bengals. Meanwhile, those Browns, I'm taking a look at their last 3 games. At Houston, Christmas Eve. On the 28th, they are at home against the Jets. And then on the road at Cincinnati on the 7th. Those are the last 3 games for the Browns. Then the Steelers' last 3 games include at home against Cincinnati on the 23rd, at Seattle on New Year's Eve, and then on the 7th at Baltimore. And that is a hell of a way because I always love whenever the Steelers and the Ravens get together. It's always ugly. And looking at the standings here, right now Baltimore 11-3, Cleveland 9-5, Cincinnati 8-6.
Yeah,
And right now, looks like Mr. Flynn has our playoff picture right now. Taking a look at all the seedings for both the AFC and the NFC. So now,
and see, and just as go ahead. And just as my laptop was about to go off on me, I was mentioning that you have the Rams and the Saints. Both teams are at 7-7, and they'll be meeting each other on Thursday night. But between these two, Thursday night's game is going to feel like 2 games. It's going to count as 2 games on the schedule because of the tiebreakers, and then of course Minnesota who lost and Seattle who won. So what I believe is that at least 2 of these 4 teams will make the playoffs. The reason why I say at least 2 is because Tampa is at 7-7 themselves. I mean, well, I didn't see this coming for for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to go into Week 16 at 7-7 and playing some really good football. So,
So that's how it looks like right there.
And then as for the AFC, because I know you want to look at the wild cards, but we still got a doozy going on in the in the AFC. In the AFC, we got Cincinnati, the Colts, who lost to Cincinnati. So that's why Cincinnati leaked up because the tiebreaker. Cincinnati also beat Houston, and Cincinnati also beat Buffalo. So while Cincinnati is 3-6 in conference play, the 3 teams Cincinnati beat matter: Colts, Texans, Bills. And those are the three teams Cincinnati has tiebreakers with.
Yeah, I'll have to see if Lucas, our friend Lucas, of course, big Steelers fan, see if he knows if because I hear that Kyle Rudolph may be starting for the Steelers this week. Thank God it won't be Trubisky.
And that would be Mason Rudolph.
Oh, Mason Rudolph. Where'd I get
Kyle Rudolph was a tight end.
Kyle Rudolph was, okay. So Mason Rudolph will be possibly the starter this week. But the way that Kenny Pickett has played so far before his injury, I really had a feeling that Steelers was going to take the AFC North.
Yeah,
I guess that shows what I know.
Yeah.
Anyway, that is our hot topics for this week. But now
I think we can get back to the leaderboards from this week because holy Flacco.
Holy Flacco, Batman. Oh yeah, we were back to the. Yeah, I think we were just about to hit the wide receivers before your computer decided to have its hiccup.
Yeah. So you're looking at James Cook, Ty Chandler, Devin Singletary. I guess he happened to be in my other league who he put on my bench, and that was the reason I got knocked out of the playoffs in my other league because I decided to sit him and start Saquon Barkley, who only gave me 5 points. But in terms of the letdowns, there were a whole bunch of them. Austin Eckler only had 3.8. Travis Etienne, Tony Pollard couldn't reach 6 points. Derrick Henry, how about this stat from Derrick Henry? That 16 carries for 9 yards.
Yuck.
Blech. That's all I gotta say about that.
Yeah, and he had 4 receptions for 1 yard. No, he had 4 receptions for 1 yard. No, this
luckily we do PPR here.
Wait, no, this is better. Yeah, I know that. I literally just forgot about that. So let's try it again on the PPR.
Yeah. Dino has Derrick Henry. Yeah, luckily he didn't. Luckily that didn't cost him.
The Vikings starting running back again.
Yeah.
Because I actually had a kicker.
I just want to get the roster percentages up here.
Yeah.
There we go. So Tony Pollard in PPR got 7.7. Travis Etienne couldn't break 10. I look at all of these running backs who are owned by at least 99% of leagues. Christian McCaffrey had as much as the other 7 combined.
That's why he is one bad mamma jamma, I tell you. He's definitely a front runner for league MVP.
Yeah, and Brees Hall only had 2.8 yards per 2.8 points. He only had 6 carries for 12 yards.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, yeah, but now here we go. Now let's get to the wide receivers, shall we?
Oh yeah.
And in terms of PPR, you had 15 and you had 15 receivers get 20 points.
Not bad. Pretty good names up there anyway. Including Rasheed Rice, that name that you just highlighted.
I mean, and Jordan Addison.
That is my dark horse favorite for AFC Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, and Rasheed Rice. And I wanted to get into something to give you more perspective. On this, over these last, I want to get something with Rasheed Rice in just a minute about this. But Jordan Addison, who Natale benched, was the number 1 wide receiver in fantasy last week.
Yeah, definitely did not see that coming.
Yeah. And also, the thing is, what the thing I said about Terry McLaurin, that who had no targets on in the Miami game. I told you he was going to get a lot of targets, and he got 12 of them, and he caught 6 of them for 141 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and now we'll look at some of the clunkers. I mean, Tyreek Hill didn't play. Stephon Diggs only had 8.8 points, which really didn't amount to much. But Gabe Davis didn't have any as well. But
no, it was all James Cook right there.
Yeah, and HC Brown only had 10.6. The DK Metcalf were at 12.8. Yeah, but the thing I did want to show you is that last week we had a my top trivia question was about stats over the last 5 weeks. So I want to give you something to chew your head on, and these are the wide receiver leaders in terms of points per game over the last 5 weeks. And Rasheed Rice, top 10. Christian Watson, points per game, top 10. He didn't play the last 2 weeks. Michael Pittman Jr., the DJ Moore, who has been terrific for the Bears, although last week he had a bit of a clunker, which I kind of expected against that Cleveland defense. But Deebo Samuel, Tyreek Hill, CeeDee Lamb, not that much of a surprise. But Jaden Reed has stepped up big time in terms of the production in the absence of Christian Watson. But let's take a look at the tight. Let's take a look at the tight ends and how they did.
There's my pick for NFC Offensive Rookie of the Year. And he has been so great for me this year. He has been so great for me this year. We got Njoku, McBride, Hentry, Likely, Kraft, Higgins, Meyer, Commit, Hawkinson at number 10. Hey, not bad for my man Jake Ferguson at number 12.
Should be Tucker Kraft.
Yeah, but Tucker Kraft has a tough matchup against Carolina this weekend. So we'll see how that transpires. And so Sam Laporta, David Njoku has been terrific. But I do want to give you the and here's the tight end performances over the last 5 weeks. That no surprise with Sam Laporta and Trey McBride's been great. David Njoku, who has been unbelievable the last 2 weeks, 26 points each of the last 2 weeks, against Jacksonville and against the Chicago Bears.
Yeah, I just put him back in my lineup, so
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Had to.
Um.
I really do like George Kittle, but
Yeah. So who we got now?
Yeah, I think the defense / special teams. Of course, the Raiders were number one because they had 2 touchdowns. The Dolphins, the Bills were ranked number 11. They were only ranked number 11 because they didn't have any. They only had 1 interception and no defensive touchdowns, but they were excellent. And then your leading kickers for the week. Kiami Fairbairn, Matt Prater, Matt Gay.
Tucker, Sanders, Bucker, McClelland, Moody, McPherson, Carlson.
Yeah, Devin McPherson. Oh, by the way, I think he was my starting kicker of the week, although he wound up being number 9, but he did kick the game-winning field goal against Minnesota.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, just like he did against that team 2 years ago in the season opener.
I went from having the number 8 kicker to the number 4 kicker.
Yeah.
So that's kind of going deeper inside the numbers there. Yes, it's time for Tim's Tough Trivia. So everybody out there, get your thinking caps on. And if I'm not mistaken, we're going to have like an extra special question as well.
Mm-hmm.
I
got a Christmas themed question.
Oh, Natale came up with one. Okay. So I'll give my question first. Then we'll get Natale with his. So here's the first one. This past Thursday, the Raiders had a 42-0 lead at halftime on their way to their explosive 63-21 victory over the Chargers this past Thursday. 42 points is the second highest margin lead at halftime. So the question is, which team holds the record for the biggest halftime lead in history? That's my question.
Interesting.
All right, Natale, let me hear yours.
All right, I was just looking through some random stuff here, and mine's going to be an interesting one. Just going to be a simple question. Which NFL player has the most receiving yards on Christmas? As far as all Christmas games having been played, which receiver holds the record?
Don't really have that many games on Christmas, except if a Christmas is on Sunday, because of course that would be the majority for everybody there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but when Christmas falls on a Sunday, the league moves the games to Christmas Eve.
Oh, yep. Right. Kind of like this year.
Christmas is actually on Monday.
Right. Yeah, you don't really have many options here. I mean, your players are lucky if they get to play in one, essentially.
Right. Yeah.
Although there are some notable people who have played more than one game, but just for fun here, I'm not going to say too much, but Ben Roethlisberger is tied for first in passing touchdowns on Christmas, a recent player.
Big Ben, Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
He'll be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. And Le'Veon Bell has the rushing yards record.
Okay.
But we're talking for receiving yards, but we'll save that for the end.
I think I got a good guess for the wide receiver question.
Okay. But we'll hold that thought until the end of the show.
We'll let y'all think about that. Right now, we're going to let y'all think about who's got the stardoms and situms for players that are still in the fantasy leagues, in the playoffs. If you need to make any changes, you want to get somebody, you want to drop somebody, I think we got some information for you.
Yeah.
But instead, we will right after this quick break.
Ready to hang with some fellas who know football? Let's ride. LC Muscles 28.
I think they're the most overrated defense in the league.
Steel Sermon.
We did not trail for a single second.
Tiny Tim.
McCarthy is a bonehead.
A Pistol 90.
I'm going with my boys. Fins up, baby.
Get ready for the Four Horsemen of Pick'ems. Every Wednesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central on YouTube.
All right, everybody. I kicked the other three out for a moment because I will be giving you my startums and situms for week number 16 in fantasy football fever. So, my starting quarterback for fantasy football week 16 in the NFL, my guy Justin Fields from the Chicago Bears. And look, I was the only one in the group that picked the Bears to cover the 3.5 point spread against the Cleveland Browns because Justin Fields has the attitude that I've really been liking recently because I thought he had a decent performance against the Browns, and now he's going up against the Arizona Cardinals, who just gave up 45 points to the San Francisco 49ers, and so he's got favorable matchups all the way around. I think he's going to have 50 to 80 rushing yards. I think he's going to have a couple of touchdowns. I think this is a favorable matchup for Justin Fields to go off here for the Chicago Bears. My starting running back of the week, and this is not an overreaction to his performance last week. My starting running back is James Cook of the Buffalo Bills because James Cook was awesome against the Cowboys on Sunday. 179 yards rushing, 2 total touchdowns. And who do the Bills have coming up next? The Chargers. Now I know what you're saying about a team that just fired head coach, that how they might be fired up about that. But the Chargers don't have the personnel to stop the run. We saw that earlier in the we saw that so many times throughout the year. They just don't have the inner fortitude. Whoever comes in as the general manager is going to have to make some key changes, and it's going to be tough for them to do that with all these big contracts that are on the books, like Joey Bosa, like Khalil Mack, like Justin Herbert, just to name a few. So I think James Cook is going to run wild on them all weekend long. My starting wide receiver of the week, I mentioned something about the Bengals earlier. And yes, T. Higgins is going to be my starting wide receiver of the week because I think he's going to get more targets going up against the Steelers secondary that's been atrocious. I mean, they gave up 3 passing touchdowns to the Colts on this Saturday. I think T. Higgins with Jamar Chase out it now has something to prove, and I think he can net himself another $30 to $40 million on his free agent contract. And this is his chance to show that he can be a true number one wide receiver for anybody. I loved him in the draft process. He should have been the one. He was the one that got away for the Packers and Aaron Rodgers and Brian Gutekunst. I think he's going to have 8 catches. I think he's going to have 115, 120 receiving yards and a touchdown against the Steelers. I love his matchup coming up this Saturday, Saturday afternoon on NBC. My starting tight end of the week is Darren Waller of the New York Football Giants. And look, I think it was clear that when things were down, I think Tom DeVito looked at Darren Waller as the last resort because, and that's the guy right there because the receivers weren't doing anything. And I thought the receivers collectively had their worst game of the season for the Giants on Sunday. So I think Darren Waller is going to get some more targets as he works his way back. Now, obviously, last week was a little limited for him because it was his first game back from injury. So his workload was a bit limited, but he's got a favorable matchup against Philadelphia. The Eagles have had some issues stopping tight ends all year. and not even a defensive coordinator change is going to make a difference for that one. So I really like Darren Waller getting 7 or 8 catches on Monday, on Christmas Day afternoon. My starting defense / special teams of the week. I know it's a little cheesy, but I'm going to go with the Jets. The Jets defense going up against Washington. And I know that they're facing Sam Howell, who is throwing like a gazillion yards this year, but I think the Jets are going to make things really hard for Washington to get any sort of consistency. So I'm going to start the Jets. And my starting kicker of the week is Jake Elliott of the Philadelphia Eagles going up against the Giants. So because I think that the Giants have been a team that's been giving up a lot of points to kickers for most of the season. I think the Eagles offense against Giants defense, I don't think is going to be a fair fight, especially if this is a get back game for Philadelphia. So Jake Elliott is going to be my starting kicker in fantasy this upcoming week. And now to the sit-ins for the week. My quarterback, my sit of the week at quarterback is going to be Jordan Love of the Green Bay Packers going up against the Carolina Panthers, and the Panthers have ranked as bad as the Panthers have been, that they ranked number 1 in the National Football League in average in points per game allowed to opposing quarterbacks, which is wild for a team that's 2-12 and wild for a team that doesn't have their first round pick next year. So I think it's going to be a tough go at it, and they just saw what they did to the Falcons, that they're simply stifling the opposition for 60 minutes and only allowing one scoring drive for the offense. Now, my running back sit for week number 16 in the NFL is going to be David Montgomery for the Detroit Lions, because I think this is going to be all about the red zone opportunities for the Lions, because earlier in the year it was David Montgomery that was terrific for the Lions. And for fantasy owners, because of the opportunities he had. Of course, I think he had a 3 touchdown game against the Packers on prime time earlier this season. But now Jahmyr Gibbs has had more red zone opportunities, and Jahmyr Gibbs had 2 touchdowns on Thursday night. So I'm going to be going with David Montgomery as my sit of the week, mainly because I think a lack of red zone targets going up against the Vikings. My wide receiver sit of the week is going to be Puka Nacua of the Los Angeles Rams going up against the New Orleans Saints. Now, why am I saying Puka Nacua? For most of the season, he's been tremendous as a wide receiver 1, and he showed a lot of promise of filling in, taking on the workload Cooper Kupp would usually have, but Puka Nacua only had 7 points in fantasy last week, while Cooper Kupp had 8 catches for 111 yards and a touchdown in his performance. So my sit of the week for wide receivers is going to be Puka Nacua. My sit-em tight end of the week is going to be Dallas Goedert of the Philadelphia Eagles going up against the Giants. And before last week, when Juwan Johnson and Jimmy Graham went off on the Giants defense, the Giants have done a really good job given with stopping tight ends. But I think Goddard, if the Eagles are going to be keen on running the football, which I think they got to do, I think that they did enough things methodically to win on Monday night. Like running the football, playing some good defense before they ultimately couldn't stop Drew Lock on that 92-yard drive in the last 2 minutes to lose that game. But I think it's going to be a part of the game script for Philadelphia, because they know they got to get back. They saw what Buffalo did against Dallas. They saw what it's that they've seen other teams that have been running the football, playing power football. That's what the Eagles need to do to get back in the Super Bowl conversation. So I think it's going to be more of a run action. So I'm going to be sitting Dallas Goedert if I were you, and finding a better option for the Philadelphia Eagles. My starting defense my defense / special team sit of the week is the Baltimore Ravens, because they're going up against the San Francisco 49ers on Sunday, and I think this is going to be it's going to be a bad matchup for them. This is obviously the toughest team they will see all year. So I think it's going to be it's going to be tough for them on those regards. And my kicker sit of the week is, let me pull it up, Daniel Carson of the Las Vegas Raiders, and this is a tough matchup for him. I think he's not going to have that many opportunities. I think the Raiders are going to have to be a bit aggressive on fourth downs to have a chance to beat the Chiefs and keep whatever playoff hopes alive they have. So my sit of the week is going to be Daniel Carlson of the Raiders.
Interesting names there for your starters and sit-ems. So all of you players out there, you might want to take some notes on that. We are now going to what we're going to talk about right now.
Yeah, well, now we're going to see the rankings for everybody for week 16 in the NFL.
Oh yeah. Bringing that up. Yeah, fantasypros.com, a very, very, very good site to get a lot of the NFL statistics. I highly recommend that particular website. So we're looking at projections here. Familiar names on top, including Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, Justin Fields, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, Dak Prescott, Brock Purdy, Tua Tagovailoa, Nick Mullins.
Yeah, look at Baker Mayfield in the top 10.
Yeah, how about that there? Yeah, with Tampa Bay at home against Jacksonville this week.
Yeah, that was my number 2 in my stardoms of the week, because behind Justin Fields. Yep, and then you see here Jake Browning, who is still a little bit lower, but I think that might be a good matchup going up against the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Good. Running backs, well, of course, we would have McCaffrey at the top of the list there. Kyron Williams
Let's get PPR back up.
Oh yeah, because basically that's our league. That's how we do things in our league.
Yeah, if we can get this sub, that would be that would be awesome.
Yeah, I know. You gotta love technology sometimes.
Here we are. This is better.
PPR rankings. Yeah, you expect to see James Cook up there in the top 5 with that awesome game he had Sunday against Dallas.
Yeah, with Rashad White too, and Kyron Williams.
Yeah. I think I've got Isaiah Pacheco in either this league or one of my other ones. I can't remember.
Yeah. Bijan Robinson trying to do better than the 0.4 he scored last week.
Right.
Yeah, and David Montgomery is projected 12.3, while Jahmyr Gibbs is projected 14.5. So you could see 11 carries for Jahmyr Gibbs, while but with fewer receptions.
Right.
So you have those numbers. Wide receivers.
Well, look at that. You got the two teams. You got the two top receivers. Of course, they'll be facing each other on Christmas Eve. That will be a huge matchup. Now, how actually the question I think is not who is going to cover Tyreek Hill. I think the question is how. I mean, this guy is like the fastest man in the NFL. They call him the Cheetah. And who would you put on him? Would you put Stephon Gilmore or would you put on Deron Bland?
Yeah, which is why which is why the Dolphins needed that. Which is why the Dolphins needed that performance from Jalen Waddle because now so he can show some reliability and takes a little bit of pressure off of Tyreek Hill and if the Dolphins are gonna make a run to the Super Bowl, they're gonna need Jalen Waddle to make some big plays.
Yeah, that's going to be true. And it's going to be interesting who's going to cover CeeDee Lamb on the Dolphins side.
Yeah, and of course, and I have CeeDee Lamb in my other league, and I have Tyreek Hill in this league. But Rashee Rice is in the top 15 in terms of projections. So Mike Evans is in there as well. And I think Puka Nacua is going to be a little bit lower than last time. So you can see Chris Godwin, Devontae Smith, the Terry McLaurin. They think it's going to crash back down to earth, and I could see why 11.1 points going up against presumably Sauce Gardner. So that's not going to be a fun matchup, but
right.
by any stretch of the imagination.
Right, that's gonna be kind of a difficult matchup right there. Taking a look now at the top tight ends for this week. Kelsey, McBride, Laporta, Ingram, Kittle, Njoku. Pretty good names who have, of course, done pretty good all season long. And we got Kelsey projected 15-1. Yeah, that'd be good. It's Laporta, my man. And look at Jake Ferguson is up there in the top 10. Along with Hawkinson, Kmet, there's Likely, Goddard. Basically, you got to sit him.
Yeah.
Taysom Hill, I don't think I trust Taysom Hill that much.
Yeah, I mean he only had one catch for 4 yards last week.
Right. So that's basically the tight end front right there.
Yeah. Let's take a look at the kickers now. And not much to see here. Jake Elliott, so much higher than the rest.
Which I think is a joke.
And then the defenses. But I mean, the Eagles are playing the Giants, and it's a get right game for them.
Mm-hmm.
And now the defense / special teams. Yeah, it's 9.3 for those chickens.
We got 9.3. Got 8-2 for those Jets. 7-9 for the Bills. Commanders at 7-7. As well as the Packers there.
Yeah. And if you look,
don't they have the Cowboys kind of down on the list for 5.8 against the Dolphins this week. That will be very difficult.
Yep. And then you can see the Ravens, they only had 5.9, and they have them ranked 23rd. So this is maybe some reasoning why I have them as the sit of the week.
Right.
Anyway.
Yeah, let's take a look at our previews for the semifinal round of our league playoffs, starting with
and the consolation bracket.
Yeah, well, we'll start there. Be David versus Andrew. Andrew right now has a projection lead 141.8 to 113. Looks like David could get some good points from Justin Jefferson, CD Lamb, Evan Ingram, and then and from that Commander's defense. While Andrew could score big with Josh Allen, Kyron Williams, and Zach Moss, and CJ Mosley for the Jets, and Jake Moody with a kicker. So that's how that lineup looks here.
Yeah.
Let's
go. And now let's go to the other constellation.
Yeah, it's going to be Alex versus Casey. Casey right now at 133.9 to 129.7. Casey, he should score big with Brock Purdy and with Stephon Diggs. And Alex has got Pollard and Rashad White, Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen questionable, so I definitely want to keep an eye on him. And if any of you players have Keenan Allen on your roster, you might want to keep an eye on that one. A lot of questionable guys for Alex on his bench. And of course, we have the next one in the consolation bracket.
Yeah, we got Adam against you, Natale.
Yep.
Yeah, looks like Natale's pretty much got a stacked lineup right there. I would think Bijan Robinson could have a really good week. He's projected at 14.6. DeAndre Hopkins, kind of been criticizing him a little bit at 14.9. Expect great numbers from Deebo Samuel and Hawkinson. Go to Wrigley. Then the Bills defense special teams. Then over on the other side, Adam has Dak Prescott, TJ Edwards, and Brandon Aubrey. There's real standouts there. Mixon, Robinson, Wilson, Moore, Hill, and Lockett on his roster as well. So that's basically how that matchup
All right, so
Actually,
Tim, here we go. This is your matchup. So you're going up against Dino.
yeah, we have a very, very close projection right there.
0.4 of a point differential.
Holy cow!
0.4 of a point. I gotta make sure I can make the right.
Oh, sorry, 0.3.
Oscar
Sorry,
moves.
excuse me, 0.3.
Yeah, I see Dino has Taylor and Collins both questionable. Might want to keep an eye on him. I'm definitely going to keep Laporta. Got to hold Rice. Got to hold Brown. Don't know about Edwards-Helaire. Think I may keep. I'll probably keep Mostert on my lineup because, of course, they had a problem. Of course, Cowboys had a problem trying to stop James Cook, so they may have a problem stopping Mostert.
And also Devon Achane too, because you have both Miami running backs in the lineup.
Yeah, so that could pose a double problem for the Cowboys right there.
Yes. Yes, so it looks like you're going to need to make an adjustment in terms of Clyde Edwards-Helaire because if you look at your bench, Isaiah Pacheco is questionable, and then you're probably going to need then you'll probably need to move Devon Achane up to your running back 2, and then consider Gabe Davis or Dallas Goedert and as your flex options, and neither one of those are particularly appealing this weekend. So
that's true. That's true.
So you're probably gonna want to drop a defense since you won't since you should not be carrying 3 defenses.
Yeah, I still don't know how I got 3 defenses in my league. I'll just have to
drop at least 1, if not 2.
drop at least 1. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the Eagles, I think I may go ahead and start the Eagles against the Giants because they could probably do better than what the Lions will face against the Vikings.
And they didn't play a horrible defensive game on Monday night. They weren't. It wasn't. If you look at the overall stats, I know we're talking about. No, a lot of the blame is on the fourth quarter, but other than that, I thought they played relatively well.
Right.
Yep. And now here is my matchup. I'm going up against Lucas.
Yep. And looks like Flynn has the edge on this one. Got some pretty good stacked players on his side of the board.
Yeah, I mean, James Cook might actually be my savior. In this could he be the one that finally gets me over the hump in this league because so many years. Because what is this? 3 of the last 5 years, I went to the championship game and I lost.
Yeah. Looks like Lucas maybe makes some adjustments. I want to take a look at Lucas's bench players and see if he could probably get someone off of the bench.
Let's see. You got the Falcons defense.
Maybe Falcons defense.
Javonte Williams, who is ranked lower, who has a lower projected total than James Conner and Josh Jacobs.
Yeah, I think his lineup is fine the way it is, and I don't think there's anything more he can do here.
Yeah, but I mean, maybe you can find someone out on the waiver wire.
Yeah.
Oh yes, definitely. Yeah, you could definitely do that. That's and I guess that's basically the semifinal matchups for our fantasy league. Now it's time to go against the spread here.
Okay.
As we get
yes. So we had a lot of differences with our picks last week. I mean, me diverting more from the pack here. But what did happen was that Natale picked up 3 games on me in the straight up department. So now Natale is tied with me with 140 to 84. Tim now has a 3-game lead. He expanded that to 2, and then for all the differences we had against the spread, we finished with similar records. Yes. Yes, so now I'm 115, 105, and 4 against the spread here. Well, Natale and Tim are now tied for first place, 118, 102, and 4.
Yeah, very interesting. I didn't do too bad last week going straight up. Against the spread, I was all right. Natale led the way there at 13-4 straight up and 10-6 against the spread, and Flynn went 10-6 straight up and 9-7 against the spread. So pretty interesting there.
Yeah, I think he meant 13-3. I think he made a typo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 13-3. Yeah, but
13-3.
Yeah.
Right. So, looking at the games for this week, starting Thursday night on Prime Video, we have the Rams hosting the Saints, and the Rams are 4.5 favorites. We're all in agreement to take the Rams, but me and Flynn are taking the Rams for the win and the Saints for the points.
Yeah, when I circled the games for the spread, that was one of 3 games I did not circle the first time through. So because the reason why I grabbed the points here because I wasn't inspired by the way the Rams played in the fourth quarter of that game, allowing Washington to make it somewhat of a game where it should have been a cakewalk.
Yeah, so that's how we call that game there. Big AFC North matchup. Bengals at Steelers. Bengals go into Pittsburgh as 2.5-point favorites. We're unanimous with the Bengals winning and covering on that one.
Yep, same thing with the Bills and the Chargers. We all have the Bills winning and covering, and I believe does one of you have this as the lock of the week?
That'd be me.
All right, there's Natale's lock. Natale locking up them Bills.
And that's my lock of the week, too.
So 2 locks for the Bills on that one. Got the Colts against the Falcons in Atlanta. The Colts are 1.5-point favorites. Natale and Flynn go with the Colts. I am taking the Falcons. This has got to be a chance where Bijan Robinson will have a more decent game than he has in the past there. So,
yeah, and also Taylor Heineke is going to be the starting quarterback for your Atlanta Falcons. So, but it does not change my view on this game. I think I think you have the regardless of who's starting. I think you have the team with the better head coach and the better quarterback. Playing on the road in this one, so I'm going to be taking the Colts.
Yeah, me neither. And this is my garbage game of the week.
I can't believe there was one obvious one, but I'll still do it.
Yeah, for me, this just has Snorefest written all over it. I get the Colts are fighting for a playoff spot, but the Falcons are basically a Snorefest right now. No matter how close they get, they just can't do it for some reason.
Yeah. Anyway, next matchup is the Packers at the Panthers. Green Bay comes in at 4.5-point favorites. We all agree that the Packers will take this one. However, Flynn is taking the Panthers with the points.
Yeah.
Next game is Cleveland at Houston. Houston is 2.5-point favorites. Flynn and Natale taking the Texans, while I, on the other hand, am going the other way and going with the Browns because I think the Browns defense could pretty much hold off that could probably hold off that Texans offense, especially with the chance that CJ Stroud may not be ready for that particular game.
And by the way, did you guys see the end of the Browns game on Sunday? How that game ended?
Mm-mm.
Because the Bears had the ball, 5 seconds left at midfield, and Justin Fields throws a heave to the middle of the field, and a lot of the ball kept tipping off receivers, and Darnell Mooney had a chance to catch it to win the game, but he wound up missing it. And the Browns won that game despite being down by double digits in the fourth quarter. So that's why it was a game the Browns should have lost, but so that's why I'm going to be taking the Texans here. Now, Lions Vikings to me was the single toughest game of the week for me to pick. I don't know about you guys, but that's how I felt.
Yeah, I kind of felt that way a little bit, but I say go with I think the Lions are just slightly better than the Vikings, even though Alexander Madison is a pretty good running back. Jordan Addison, great receiver.
And I mean, we'll see how much the Vikings utilize Ty Chandler, but I just think the way the Vikings played defensively, I was rather uninspired. Especially in the fourth quarter, how they let a double digit lead slip away like that in the fourth quarter. I think that's unacceptable to me.
Right. I'm still hoping for a good. I'm hoping for a good game from my man Sam Laporta. Got him on my league. Got him in my lineup for the last few weeks, and he's come out really good for me.
Yeah. Yeah, and also if the Lions do win on Sunday, they will have clinched their division title for the first time in 30 years.
Wow, 30 years! Wow.
Yep,
that will be something. I'd take a big Gatorade tank and I'd dump it on their head coach if they do that.
Yeah, and the thing is, all the Lions have to do is win one of their last 3 games, and they win the division.
That shouldn't be too hard for them. Some of that will be kind of hard. Well, kind of hard to watch will be the Commanders at the Jets. Jets are at home, and they are 3-point favorites. This is my garbage game of the week.
Yeah, it's the same thing with me too, because it's the only game between 2 teams that are already out of it. So.
Yeah, I've got Natale and I have the Commanders winning and covering, while Flynn is taking the Jets.
Yeah, it's gonna be a Jets thing to happen. That the Jets look miserable. So their worst effort of the season. They get eliminated from playoff contention, and then they proceed to beat Washington, worsening their draft position. That's just how this is going to work.
Next game, Seattle at Tennessee. Seattle's 2.5-point favorites. We are in unison on that one. Seattle for the win and for the cover.
Yep, and coming off the heels, and all of us picking Seattle as an upset special last week.
Amazing how that worked out. Jaguars at Buccaneers. Bucks are 1.5-point favorites. Natale is a lone wolf on this one, going with the Jaguars.
Yeah, I think the Bucks are very overrated. I think this is where they finally choke.
But here's the thing about this game. who do you trust more? Because who's been playing better football? Because Trevor Lawrence has not exactly played good football over the last couple of weeks. Because I know he had like 27 points in fantasy a couple of weeks ago, but he did throw 3 picks, and before he got concussed, he was terrible against Baltimore.
Yeah, that's true. But I think this is the game where Lawrence finally figures it out.
Yeah, but I mean, I think Baker Mayfield has been really strong this year, and I think all of us underestimated him. So that's why I'm gonna be taking the Bucs to win and cover.
Yep. Next one is Cardinals at Bears at Soldier Field. The Bears are 4.5-point favorites. We're all in agreement with the Bears winning, although Flynn is taking the Cardinals with the points.
So the fact that the Bears are hosting a 4:25 p.m. Eastern game in December with the way these two teams have been playing is just mind-boggling. So that you never see an East Coast team as bad as the Bears host a 4:25 game where there's not much in the way of playoff implications. Now, you might see if the Eagles and the Cowboys are still going for the division, you're going to have the Giants and Washington hosting 4:25 p.m. Eastern games because they're going to get the ratings on those fronts. But still, it's just beyond mind-boggling that the Bears are in this position. Now, in the very story, I think Kyler Murray is going to keep this close, so that's why I'm going to take the Bears at the points. Cardinals at the points.
All right, and then comes my game. Cowboys at Dolphins. I know me and Alex will be really having our eyes on this one. Flynn and Natale both are going with the Dolphins to win. Of course, I am taking my Cowboys to win by 3 points. Natale's got the Dolphins by 3. And Flynn's got the Dolphins by 6, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this could come down. This could be a potential overtime game.
Oh, could be. Of course, my difference will be the real Mr. Automatic, Brandon Aubrey. So we'll see how that goes. Meanwhile, we have the Patriots and the Broncos in Denver. Broncos 6.5-point favorites. We are all online to have the Broncos win and cover, as well as we have the Raiders and the Chiefs. Longtime rivals. Chiefs 10-point favorites. Natale has the Chiefs winning, but Flynn and I are both taking the Chiefs for the win, but the Raiders for the points because I believe 10 points is just a tad bit too generous.
Yeah, and I learned absolutely nothing about Kansas City last week in their win against the Patriots. I learned nothing.
Yeah, and I think the Raiders will have a much better game than they did last Thursday against the Ravens. Giants at Eagles, Philly 11.5 favorites. We're all in unison there. Eagles taking the win and going with the points to the win and cover the Eagles.
And Tim has the Eagles 35-17 as his lock of the week.
Yep, I'm locking up them chickens, even though I don't really like to, but that's just my opinion.
Now the reason that I had pause with the points was because that there's a little bit of disarray with the Eagles offense and how Brian Johnson has been calling it recently. But I think it comes down to this: that the Eagles have lost 3 straight. They're too good to lose 4 in a row, and they're facing the Giants team that doesn't have the dudes to stop the Eagles. They don't have anyone to stop AJ Brown. They don't have anybody. They're not going to have anybody to stop Boston Scott. By the way, Boston Scott is going to be in this game, and you know how much of a Giants killer he is.
All right.
I still have bad juju vibes over primetime, even though they did win a primetime game just 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, but it was short. But it was against the Packers team that didn't have their RB1 or their WY receiver one.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna play a little bit of devil's advocate here. Let's say this was an afternoon game. Would you still have picked Philly?
I still would have picked Philly to win, but I would have taken. I don't think it would have. I'd say I might have taken the Giants at the points.
Right.
If this was the 1:00 game.
Yeah, I would have done that too.
Yeah. So, but I think the reason why Giants Eagles is on at 4:30 is because the Knicks are playing on Christmas Day. They're playing at 12 noon.
Right.
So I think they might the idea for us New Yorkers is the Knicks early in the afternoon and then have the Giants and the Chickens.
True.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then the third game on Christmas night game. Ravens at 49ers. This is, in my opinion, the game of the week. It's the number 1 overall team in the league versus the number 2 overall team in the league.
Yeah, these are the 2 best teams in football. They have the 2 best records in football, and I think and let's look. I was dead. One thing I do want to say about the Ravens is that I was dead wrong on the Ravens to start the season. They were the one team in the division that I had missing the playoffs when the season began because I didn't know how Baltimore was going to do, but their passing game has been much stronger, and their defense has been playing out of their minds recently. Not recently, but this whole year.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and Kyle Hamilton has been unbelievable. And I loved him at Notre Dame, so it's no surprise that he's been so good.
Yeah, so I'm taking the 49ers to win and cover. Meanwhile, now Natale and Flynn are taking the Niners to win, but the Ravens to cover.
Yeah, I think it's going to be very back and forth. It's going to come down to a last minute field goal.
Yeah, I took the Ravens with the points to guard against an overtime situation where if the game does go into overtime, it favors the Ravens plus 5.5 bettors because the only way the 49ers can win can cover is if they score a touchdown on their opening if they win the coin toss and win the opening possession, or if they get a defensive touchdown or a special teams touchdown. Yeah, and I have a feeling a lot of fantasy matchups are going to be boiled down to this game because you're thinking of Lamar Jackson, you're thinking of Brock Purdy and Deebo Samuel and McCaffrey and Kittle and Isaiah Likely.
Yeah.
I think I have 3 players combined from these 2 teams.
Yeah, I don't have anybody.
Yeah, I think I have Kittle, McCaffrey, and Zay Flowers.
I don't know if I got anybody from those teams, but oh well. Okay, so it's time to answer our trivia questions for tonight.
Alrighty.
Okay. So my trivia question, of course, was the 42 points scored by the Raiders was the second biggest halftime lead in history. What was the biggest? Who had the biggest halftime lead in history?
Yeah, I think I know where this one's going. What's Natale's question?
I guess we'll get to that after we finish Tim's. I guess Tim already said his question, so
yes,
we'll just give our guesses on that first. Yeah, I want to say this happened in the late 2000s. For some reason, I think the Green Bay Packers are sticking to me for some reason.
So you're saying the Packers?
Yes.
Flynn, what do you say?
I'm saying the Patriots in that game against Tennessee in 2009, where the Patriots won 59-0.
Ooh.
Yeah, because I'm looking at the comments in the comment section right there. Patriots against Titans 2009. It was the Patriots against Titans 2009. They had a 45-0 lead at halftime. So it was the Patriots behind Mr. Tom Brady.
Wow.
Yes. So what's the Towers question?
All right, yeah, mine's just a kind of a straightforward one. It occurred on Christmas. Thinking about everybody that has played on Christmas, who has the record for most receiving yards all time on Christmas Day?
I think you did give us a hint about Ben Roethlisberger having the most passing touchdowns.
All right. Well, I mean, I'll tell you. Well, I'll say this: that's irrelevant. It's not a Steelers player.
Yeah, because I would have because the answer I was going to say, which is not going to be proven wrong. My guess was going to be Antonio Brown.
Okay, yeah, he's not even in the top 5. But yeah, Tim, you said you had an idea.
Yes, so I'm out. Tim, what do you say?
My guess is going to be Randy Moss.
You're going with Randy Moss?
Yep.
Okay. Well, Flynn, you could have another guess since I spoke about something. Feel free to take another guess.
Yeah, but I'm out because I was going to go with it all the way.
This might be a player you probably guys never. It's possible you might have never heard this player. I kind of forgot all about him. Derek Mason of the Ravens/Titans. He had 263 receiving yards between 2 Christmas games.
Wow. Derek Mason. Wow.
Here, I'm not sure if you're familiar with this player, Tim, but number 2 is Kevin Williams of the Dallas Cowboys.
K-Dub, Kevin Williams. He was, I think he was the number 3 receiver behind Michael Irvin and Alvin Harper.
Yeah, I have a top 5 here. Yeah, Kevin Williams was number 2. He had 203. Number 3 was Larry Centers of the Cardinals, 172. And then, all right, we have one current player who made this top 5, Travis Kelce of the Chiefs, 160. And to close out the top 5, Tony Gonzalez.
Oh,
that was when he was with the Chiefs at the time, 124. But out of these 5 players, Derek Mason was the only one who played more than 1 game. Yeah, otherwise, it would have been Kevin Williams with the record.
So how many does Travis Kelce have?
160.
So that means he's going to need 103 yards to catch Derek Mason. Is that
correct? Wait, they're not playing on Christmas Day. Are they playing Christmas Day, the Chiefs?
Yeah, they're playing on Christmas Day against the Raiders.
Yeah, so Kelce has a chance. So he needs 104 to break the record. I think he might do it. Very possible. The only person who probably stands in his way would be Rashid Rice right now, as far as receptions and stuff goes.
Could be.
And then here I'll just go through this really quick. The top 5 for the NFL rushing yards. Number 1 is Le'Veon Bell of the Steelers, 191. He played more than 1 game.
He played twice.
Yep. Olandis Gary of the Broncos had 185. Then Alvin Kamara of the Saints had 155.
Oh my gosh! Don't bring that up, please, because that's how I lost to Shedrick in the COVID championship year.
Oh wow!
Oh my gosh!
That's right. Yeah, because Shedrick had his hometown Alvin Kamara. I was in the championship. I made the playoffs as the 6th seed in that the league that year. Mm-hmm. I beat Will. I beat some. I won won the 2 weeks and then the championship. But my hopes went to die when Alvin Kamara had 6 touchdowns that day.
Ugh. And then Chris Johnson of the Titans, 142, and then Brian Westbrook rounds out the top 5 with 122, and then NFL passing touchdown leaders on Christmas. We have active player, but injured. Aaron Rodgers of the Packers is first. Well, actually, we have a tie. Then Ben Roethlisberger also had 5. Then Boomer Esiason had 3. And Kyle Bowler of the Ravens had 3. And for the finale, NFL passing leaders on Christmas, as I said earlier, Ben Roethlisberger, number 1 at 505, but that's over more than 1 game. Boomer Esiason of the Bengals, 367. Dave Grake, I think is how you say his name, of the Seahawks and Cardinals.
Dave Craig.
Krieg. Krieg.
Dave Craig. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, he also had more than 1 game. 363. Oh, here's an old guy from the probably early 2000s. Trent Green of the Chiefs.
It's
358.
part of the Kevin Harlan, Trent Green, Melanie Collins crew on CBS.
Yeah. And then rounding out the top 5, probably one of Tim's favorite players, Troy Aikman of the Cowboys, 350.
Number 8.
And there you go. Those are the top 5 from every category on Christmas.
Yeah, we'll be interested to see what happens on this Christmas with those 3 nice games on Christmas Day.
Yeah, we have a record on the line. There's only, out of this whole group of people, there's, I think, 3 active names left. We have Aaron Rodgers still left, Travis Kelce is still left, and Alvin Kamara.
Right.
Travis Kelce could potentially break a record pretty soon.
Good. So be those 3 very good games. There Raiders, Chiefs, Giants, Eagles, and Ravens, 49ers on Christmas Day. But of course, a lot more to come before that, including which of course starts on Thursday night.
Monster game in the standings in the NFC.
Right. Oh, by the way, I don't think I've showed you guys. I think I may have showed it to you maybe a couple of years ago when I first put this tree together.
Yeah, I think you showed us last week.
I think I showed y'all last week, so I don't think I showed the horseman last week, but I'll have to do that on tomorrow's show, by the way. Don't forget, Pizzle 90. That's the channel on YouTube to look for the 4 horsemen pickups tomorrow night, 10 Eastern, 9 Central. And of course, don't forget about Mr. John Natale with his podcast, Hooked on Sports.
You mean John Flynn?
Well, John Natale is hooked on something, but John Flynn is hooked on sports.
Yes.
Yeah.
Why?
I'm hooked on a feeling. How about that? I'm hooked on a feeling.
Yeah.
Ooga shaka, ooga, 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 shaka, ooga, ooga.
Only if it's a David Hasselhoff version.
David Hasselhoff version? Huh.
Yeah, David Hasselhoff has his own version.
I'm going to have to look that up. I'll have to look that up.
Well, it's the same song. He just did a rendition of it.
Right. I thought you might have been talking about Adam Thielen, the Carolina Panthers receiver.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, and of course I'm gonna have of course my team names are going to obviously change because next year because this year I did the Taylor Swift puns with 1989 Travis Kelce's version and now which was before the rumors of Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce dating and 1989 the year he was born and Travis Kelce. What I drafted him in fantasy.
Yeah, we'll do it next. It depends on who I draft. Mine is named after Jerome Ford. Out of all players, had to be him.
Built Ford tough.
And yet he's on my bench.
Yeah.
Well, I originally had it named after Nick Chubb, but
yeah.
I could only think about that one.
Yeah. I couldn't think of any words that rhymed with my other teammates, so I just picked the next best thing I could think of.
I mean, we'll need to think of something about with Caleb Williams if he's on a good team next year.
I mean, what words rhyme with Caleb, but what words rhyme with Williams? That's the.
Yeah, well, anyway, that is going to put a bow on this special Christmas package of Fantasy Football Fever. Horseman tomorrow. Don't forget Flynn with Hooked on Sports. You guys doing anything for Christmas?
Not sure. They're probably having some family over, stuff like that. A little dinner.
It's same here.
Yeah. I don't think I'll be able to visit my family, but at least I may mostly likely spend time with my best friend. Her parents are coming over from the Garland area, which of course is right outside of Dallas. So they'll be coming over, probably spend some time with them. So, yeah, it'll be good. Hopefully all of you out there will have family and friends to spend time with on Christmas. Hope y'all have a wonderful Christmas. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah, happy Kwanzaa, happy Festivus. whatever holiday you celebrate, just make it the best and be careful. If you drive, don't drink. If you drink, don't drive.
Yeah, and most of the country is going to be getting some rain on Sunday and Monday.
Oh, so be careful with that. Be careful with Mother Nature too. So just make it the best holiday you can. So for John Flynn, for John Natale, and our friend Dino, who was here earlier, Tim McClelland, thank you very much. Have a wonderful holiday season. God bless you all. As always, be a good sport. See ya.